Welcome back to BeerFormers, episode 65. We're still talking about Dinobots tonight.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Not Dinobot, but the group of Autobots who turn into dinosaurs.
Oh, okay, good. The kind I remember.
With one exception. We're going to talk about that tonight.
Okay.
All right. So,
hope you're taking notes. I can't keep.
And for our adult beverage review tonight, we're doing something a little different. We have done in a little while. We're not doing beer, so stay tuned as we get ready to talk about that. As we get done talking about our Transformer of the evening. So for episode 65, as I said, we did Grimlock, the leader of the Dinobots, on our last episode. And the one we're going to do tonight is the other one I owned as a child. So if you watch that last episode, you should know what's coming. We're talking about Swoop.
Yes.
Okay. This is the Swoop figure from my childhood.
Cool.
All right.
That's the one you played with.
This is the one I play with as a wee lad. Okay. Swoop is the only Dinobot that's not a dinosaur. He's a pterosaur. That's not the same.
That's a dinosaur.
Oh,
you're trying to.
Don't you work for a science museum? You should know that pterosaurs are not dinosaurs.
Got one of these guys flying over the
Still technically not in the same family
T-Rex
as dinosaurs.
that's eating the Triceratops.
The pterosaurs and all the aquatic ones, the aquatic reptiles, are not dinosaurs. It's not just a matter of semantics. They do not have certain qualities.
Agree to disagree.
All right. If you're a paleontologist, please chime in and tell my wife here how wrong she is about all this stuff. Right. All right.
That's good.
So here's the original Swoop figure. One of the things we're going to talk about here tonight is that the way he's portrayed here in this figure is very different than every other figure of him that's pretty much come out since. And
How
most has to do with
are
colors.
there?
Oh, there's so many different Swoops. We're going to just touch on a couple of them tonight.
Okay.
But but Swoop was one of the original ones that came out in 1985. You can hold him.
Oh, he's so light.
He's very light. He's very thin and frail compared to some of the other ones because he is a pterosaur, which means he's mostly going to be wings and stuff.
Yes.
He's the only Dinobot that has the power of flight. Like all Dinobots, he has a sword, and all the swords, in the show and the cartoons have the ability to generate heat or glow or something like that, so they can cut through things very easily. He's the Dinobot's bombardier. So that
makes sense.
So he can drop bombs on him. And he's portrayed in his tech specs, as we'll see on the screen in a minute, as being very scary, But yet he's actually pretty friendly in his characterization. He, like with Grimlock, depending on which continuity you're following, if it was the cartoon, he was dumb like all the Dinobots. Me, Swoop, all the time. So he was one of the more soft-spoken ones, the more kind-hearted one. He kind of just went along with Grimlock because Grimlock's the leader, so that's what I do, right?
Right.
In the comic books and other media, he was more, he was more intelligent. That was kind of one of the common things amongst the Dinobots. Dumb on the cartoon, smart everywhere else, right? So he's gone through a lot of changes over the years, depending on which media you're talking about. In the cartoon, which we'll focus on mostly, he was built second by Wheeljack and Ratchet. They made the original 3 Dinobots, Grimlock, Slag, and Sludge. And then they realized, we should make a couple more. So they made Snarl and Swoop. And then they kind of made these guys to rein in the Dinobots who had kind of gone cray. It's like, we got to bring them back in,
Yeah.
So he was portrayed as being very scary because of his flying mode, which I never quite got as a kid. Because just because he can fly doesn't make it automatically scary.
Well, some people are very scared of birds.
They are.
Some people
Yeah.
So
like most Dinobots, he's got the coloration of silver, the chrome, and red, right? Mm-hmm. All Dinobots had that coloration somewhere in there. However, when Swoop was being designed, the person who was looking at this to put him in media was looking at the original Diaclone. So these were leftovers from Diaclone again, the original Transformers line that became Transformers, right? And in his Diaclone form, the chest area was all blue. So pretty much all subsequent Swoops that have come out over the years have used the cartoon coloration of the blue.
Blue.
We're not talking about that. We're looking at it. So Swoop was like the air power. Like I said, he was soft spoken, kind of the nice Dinobot, so to speak.
Yeah. What would he bomb people with?
He just like all the Dinobots, he was like from the air a lot.
Did he have a gun?
He had these missiles here and everything like that. So you want to transform him now?
Yeah.
Okay. So the first thing I'll do is I take the sword out.
And I just want to point out, too, are these new stickers or are these the original stickers?
The
stickers are in amazing shape.
Take off the pods. The
these?
pods. Just to get them out of the way.
Do they shoot?
They did in the original Diaclone, but because of American laws.
Okay, because it looks like they've got little switches
the 4-year-old
here.
just swallowed a shot of missile in his throat, ruined it for everybody. Sorry if that's your family.
It's not really sorry. Okay, here we go.
But, so the wings go flipped out. Let's talk about this
That's
real quick. We haven't really
easy.
talked about it too much, but there's the prominent rub sign.
Yes.
So this is 1985 is when this debuted. There were so many Transformers lookalikes. You know, if you go to this toy store, there's all sorts of robot transforming toys. So Hasbro had the idea of a thermo sticker on there. So
Which
you
is
rubbed
fun.
it. You don't think it's going to show up on camera, but you rubbed it with heat from your fingers, and it would show the Autobot
do
Decepticon symbol. That'll probably work too. Yeah, there it is.
Worked.
We'll put it up there so maybe you can see it for a little bit. All right.
It's kind of fun. You felt like you were exposing a.
And they had an ad campaign saying it's only a real Transformer if it had the
Yeah.
rub sign. So there's Swoop's rub sign. Okay, so turn around this side now.
Okay.
You want to kind of collapse the arms.
What do you mean?
Collapse them up. They're
Like
a little
this?
too long now. Yep.
Like this?
No, the other too long.
Yeah.
Make it
So,
more-
like that.
There you go.
Okay. It wasn't going anywhere, and I'm like, don't break it.
Yeah.
All right.
Which is always good. You don't break it.
This one is not moving up.
You do it.
Yes, it's not going anywhere, and I'm gonna snap that right off.
got it.
Okay.
And then you just push them at the shoulders to kind of collapse them into the body.
Okay.
To kinda get them out.
That one's. Why are you giving so much trouble right
I don't know.
on?
It doesn't like you tonight.
There we go.
Okay.
That
You want to
one's
lift
in.
up the Pteranadon head out of the chest.
I don't think I have that arm in enough.
It is. It doesn't go all the way.
So
It's kinda-
Pteranadon head.
Yeah. And notice how his robot head just kind of folds up in there like that, right? Okay.
That's
So
clever.
you just pull that up and pull it back.
Yeah.
Okay. Now you want to flip up that wheel if you can, inside the chest there. So
I
there's a wheel
see
in
it.
there.
There he goes.
Can you get it up?
I flipped it.
Okay. Now see, there's like a little gap there that's going to fit in that gap there. So you're just going to finally weasel that close.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's cool.
So he does have landing gear, even though these are
and
tests.
a nice little snap.
Okay. Lastly, the feet.
Yes.
The toes will roll back. The actual toes part. No, the toes of his feet. Yep. Just fold those all the way back. Yep.
Oh, yep. Here we go.
On both sides there. Yep. And then these become like engine pods that snap in. They kind of click back into his back. You got to pull them down first.
Okay. Let's see.
Get a little bit extra.
Oh, there we
You hear
go.
that little click there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Satisfying.
Yep.
Got it.
And that's his dinosaur form, even though he's not really a dinosaur. He's a pterosaur.
Do his feet come down?
See, they got little wheels molded into them. Let's hold up to that
Yeah.
camera so you can see. They don't actually roll, but there's a little wheel molded into it. So when he's landing, I guess he can
That's his landing
he
gear.
can be on his landing gear.
Okay.
Stuff like that, right? But otherwise, you can pose him like he's going to be,
Yes.
like, talking to you. Like,
How you doing?
yeah.
I see you
And
with
then
my
then you can
then
you can reattach the missile pods on the wings, so you can still
Okay.
use those as a.
And that's how he bombs stuff.
That's how he bombs.
Right
stuff.
here.
Yep.
Okay. All right.
Yep.
Take that. And then there we go.
Yeah. The sword has nowhere to go, and
So you just gotta hope you don't lose it.
Yeah, hope you don't
Put it in your pocket.
And the mouth is articulated.
Oh, well, that's pretty neat.
So-
Oh.
Hey, Swoop!
Shut up. Shut up.
Good luck, not the muffin.
Don't listen. Stop screaming. Listen to me. Okay.
So over the years, there's been lots of swoops, mostly in the years since Beast Wars. Almost every time they've had the Dinobots in any form come out, there's been a swoop. He's one of the more popular Dinobots, I think, because of his ability to fly. So people like pterosaurs, even though they're not dinosaurs. I'm gonna keep harping on that. Just drive you nuts. Is it working? It's working, isn't it?
You look at the big brain
I
on
know.
Dave, everybody.
Yeah. But including in Titan's Return, they had the Dinobot, combiner set. After years, people said, "Why were the Dinobots combined?" Because they weren't built to be a combiner.
The dinosaur pterosaur combined
the
set.
Terabots.
Terabots.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Swoop got a remold for that, and then they can also combine with the other Dinobots to form Volcanicus, right? There was one that came out in Energon, Transformers Energon, that was kind of like it was supposed to go out for Transformers Universe, but came out for Energon instead. And there's been the Swoop's been in the live action movie, although they had to climb strafe because they lost the copyright. To
Are you serious?
Oh,
that's insane.
A lot of that kind of stuff happens over the years. Like the copyright name will expire, and like they didn't keep it up for whatever reason. So like
how is Swoop not copyrighted? It's just a word.
And copyright law is weird sometimes.
Okay.
It seems like I don't fully claim to understand all of it, but I think a lot of it has to do with like if you can keep using it in a way that's consistent with the way this thing looks, then you've got it, right? But if you let it lapse even a little bit, then it can go somewhere else.
I remember when these came out when I was a kid, and everybody just thought they were so cool.
Yeah.
It really does look like
Well, again, they broke the mold, so to speak,
Yeah.
by being the first Autobots
Yeah.
that don't turn into cars.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Another thing is this little knob here in the
Yeah.
end. I think the original Japanese one was much more pointy, so I think that was
Oh,
blunted.
we rounded it
We
because we
blunted
can't.
it. So, same with his
Poke your
mouth.
eye out.
The nose was much pointier too, but the American
Yeah.
version had this little boss on the end of it to
Yeah.
make it a little more rounded, so it doesn't poke people's
Wow.
eyes out and stuff, So, so he was one of the ones that didn't get released in G2. So G2 just had Grimlock, Snarl, and Slag. So they didn't do Sludge and Swoop get the weird colors because G2 is known for its weird colors. But
Right.
recently they did put out they kind of a redo of that. So it brings me this other toy here.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so this is the Studio Series toy. This is the most recent, I would say, high quality Swoop that's come out post the Volcanicus one, right? And so you notice he's got primarily the blue.
Yes.
Okay.
Like you're talking
Most
about
Swoops are done like this because that's how he was in the cartoon.
Yes.
Especially this one because the Studio Series, this came out as in direct homage to Transformers the movie, which had Swoop in his blue coloration here. All right, so we're not going to transform that
Can
one.
I hold
Just
him?
want to show it to you for a
Oh,
second.
can I knock him over?
You can knock him over.
Ooh, clicky.
So they reissued this toy recently. There was plans to put out the other Dinobots in G2 colors, but they never came to fruition. So he finally got his G2
Okay.
do-over, and it's like a greenish color. I'll put a picture of it up on the screen.
Ooh,
I
I
don't
just
think I'm
wanna
ever
do
going to
this.
buy that one.
Yeah.
Um,
You don't think?
I don't think. We'll see how I feel eventually. But
Ooh, he swiveled those
yeah.
hips.
So very, very highly articulated for this
He's
one here.
he's heavy.
Yeah.
I like that. Is there metal in it? Because it seems like
all
it's just
with this one.
plastic.
I mean, maybe some metal
That's
in the form of
very
rivets and stuff.
Thick
But,
plastic.
Yeah.
That's cool.
So all 5 Dinobots got the Studio Series
Yeah.
treatment, which came out in
Did you find him in a store? Or did you have to order him?
I think I ordered them from Hasbro Pulse.
Yeah.
Pretty much all my new toys I get straight from Hasbro nowadays because it's sometimes hard to find them in stores.
Yeah.
The stores, having a hard time keeping up with.
Do you remember where you got the original
I
Snoop?
think I got him at Kmart.
Ah, that tracks.
So I got Grimlock Adventure. I got Swoop at Kmart.
Yeah.
And the other Dinobots
Neither
I
store
acquired
exists
later.
anymore.
Exactly. Yeah. But he was a fun one because
memories
he was so light. He didn't take up as much room. The only part of him is metal is the entire chest piece here and stuff. But
I like how it clicks together to lock in that landing gear.
That's
That's
put
cool.
and you don't even have to have that. You can leave that down if you don't want to have it exposed because it does look kind of weird poking out in this form here. So, so if you want to lose that, you don't have to have it out there. Same with the landing gear on the feet. Now, I'm not sure if the Diaclone had regular wheels in this one. I'm going to bet it did. And because he is so small, there was no place for a Diaclone pilot to set in this one. So this one was probably initially conceived as being a true robot.
Yeah.
Whereas the other ones had seats so it could be piloted by somebody. So this is probably, I don't know.
An interesting detail.
Yeah, interesting detail. So that's Swoop of the Dinobots.
Well, thank you
And
for sharing.
we'll be doing the other Dinobots in our upcoming episode. But where did we get to go? That was kind of fun. That we've always wanted to go.
Oh, okay,
And
you ready to talk about?
Let's talk about our adult beverage for the night.
Okay, so we're excited tonight to talk about a place that you likely have heard of unless you were just born yesterday. But we're talking about Jack Daniel's Distillery. And just a little story behind what's going on here. It's one of those places that every time we've driven to Atlanta, taking our kid to school and back, we see the sign from the road, come to Jack Daniel's. And we've just, for some reason, we've always put that one off. Well, a couple weeks ago, we had another trip. It was a surprise trip. And it was Dave's birthday when we were coming back.
Uh-huh.
And we're like, you know what? Let's do it this time.
So,
and we got there super early on a Sunday. And we're like,
before they were open.
Well, we were like, we get there and there's like 2 cars in the parking lot. And we're like, are they closed on a Sunday? Nope, they're open. We just got there a little early. So
the alcoholics were already waiting.
Yeah, so we were there at the where they do the distillery tour. So it is the site of the original distillery. Obviously, that is not the only place that they make their product nowadays. But if you want a tour, that's where you need to go. They have a beautiful visitor center that is full of wonderful artifacts telling the history.
Little museum kind of type place going on there, yeah.
Of Jack Daniel's and how the product came to be and who he was. And so we chose not to do the tour, but we did. They just opened a tasting room.
Yeah.
It's brand new. And so we went over there. We tried some ryes and whiskeys.
They had 2 shelves.
Yeah.
The top shelf was like pretty much all the standard stuff you see in any store
Yeah.
that has Jack Daniel's product.
Yeah.
The bottom shelf was all like their single barrel projects,
Yeah.
which usually your more upscale stores
Yeah.
will carry. And then they had a couple that were just kind of like, rare for there.
Yeah, and they had some of the, they're flavored. So
Yeah.
we tried to avoid this. But like usual, we tried to divide and conquer.
Yeah,
We,
so I went no to one shelf, I took the
Yeah,
other, and we kind of
yeah.
shared each other's and stuff.
yeah.
There's a lot more on the top shelf. What did we get, 5?
Yeah, we each
Yeah.
got 5. So we got
So
to
the
try
top shelf
10.
had more than 5, so you
Yeah.
avoided a couple of like the fruity flavors,
Yeah.
which you don't usually care for.
Yeah.
But
But
why did we not do the tour? Why did we?
we needed to go home.
Yeah, it was-
we
it was
just
based
wanted
on
to get
time.
home. Yeah.
We kind of felt like we basically know how whiskey's made from other whiskey
Yeah.
tours, like we did Still 630 and
Yeah.
stuff like that. So the only part that might have been remotely interesting to us was we go to the caves.
Yeah.
So if we ever go
And-
back, we might do that.
And if we go back and we have time, I would definitely do it. And then
Yeah.
they have different versions of the tour where you get more intense experiences and
Right.
different tastings that are part of the tour. So like we just paid to do a tasting. When you take the tour, it's kind of more like what I think we did at Sam
I think it's like a couple hours long too.
But
Right? So yeah,
Dave, why don't you go
I'll go get our
grab the bottle that we got in was the White Rabbit bottle?
White Rabbit bottle room, yeah.
So I'm going to just tell you a little bit about the history of this place and some things I found interesting. We use our Jack Daniel's glasses from the tasting.
Yeah, they let us keep the little.
And I'll tell you a little
tasting
bit about the
glasses.
product, like what makes Tennessee whiskey and what makes Jack Daniel's whiskey. The story of Jack Daniel's, and this is all from their website, so you can find it yourself. But 1866 is
the
when
year after the Civil War, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it actually, that's when he founded his distillery, but it goes a little bit farther back than that. Okay, it actually goes back to like late 1850s, early 1860s. So Jack Daniel's was a young man. He went to work on the farm of this man named Reverend Dan Call. He was a farm boy, a plow boy. He did whatever was needed on the farm, right?
Was he a whiskey reverend?
Yeah, yeah.
The whiskey reverend.
And so on this gentleman's farm, there was a man named Nathan Nearest Green. Now, Nearest was his nickname. He was a black man, and he was a freeman, and he distilled whiskey. He distilled Tennessee whiskey, and we'll talk about what that means
Was
in a
he
second.
free because of the war being over, or was he? Do we know about that?
That I don't know,
Okay.
but he taught Jack Daniels how to make whiskey. And later on, when Jack bought this farm, because Reverend Call's wife said, you either pick whiskey or you pick preaching, and he picked preaching. Jack bought this property that had this cave springs, which had this water that was perfect for distilling, and he hired Nearest Green to be his head distiller.
Okay.
And so a very interesting relationship for at the time.
That whole poster, just like the
Yeah.
family tree of all the living descendants of
Well,
the Nearest.
somebody, a Green family member has been a part of the Jack Daniel's
Right.
distillery.
Yes, there's a separate distillery now too. We discovered on the way
Yes,
home.
so there's probably a side of the story that we're not quite hearing,
Yeah.
but that's the
When
side.
we were driving
that
out to leave, we
Yeah.
see this other distillery much farther away. Not much farther away, but farther away. It's like, oh, that's the Nearest distillery.
But they're very proud of that heritage. So the primary source of the reason why they distilled in that area, why he wanted that property, was the Cave Spring Hollow, where they get their mineral rich water, which is it's rich in minerals but not iron, which is the important thing. The iron changes the flavor, so this is why this water is perfect, and it has no sediments. It's well filtered. He found it perfect for distilling. So fast forward a few years. Nobody knows what old number 7 means on Jack Daniel's, right? But you see that on the bottle. There's a lot of rumors and mythology about why it's called that. But when it first started growing in acclaim, I found this interesting. They took old number 7 to the 1904 World's Fair in St. Louis, Missouri, and it won a gold medal there. And that kind of was the start of its growing fame. Now, sadly, Jack Daniels didn't live to see that fame. Just a few years later, he kicked
Jack Daniel.
Jack Daniel. He kicked a safe because he forgot the combination and he cut his toe and he developed an infection and unfortunately it killed him.
So he kicked the safe and then kicked the bucket.
He kicked the bucket. That's exactly what happened. But
Sorry,
since that time, Jack Daniels has had different head distillers, but it's continued to grow. They survived Prohibition and the Depression, and I personally think one of the big reasons it really started to take off and get famous is because Frank Sinatra was a huge, well-known fan. But now this project is known worldwide, right?
That's one of those things that because it's so famous, a lot of people kind of look down on it because it's not exclusive enough, or it's, you know, a little bit of whiskey snootery. I think, in my opinion, it's still, you know, depending on what you're buying, you know, there's gonna be different levels of quality, like any kind of distiller. But you know, it's a great, quote unquote, basic whiskey. You know.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to tell you a little more about it. Like, if you want to know what makes it a Tennessee whiskey and what makes Jack Daniels stand out, I mean, first of all, we've already talked about the water. It comes from a limestone spring. It's a 2-mile deep cave. Every Jack Daniels product has this water in it. Okay, so you got your water, right? Then you've got to have the right mash. Okay, so I'm going to tell you a little bit about their blend. This is the recipe that Jack Daniel created. It is a recipe of 80% corn, 12% barley, and 8% rye. They still use that same recipe today. They use #1 quality products.
And that's for Jack Daniel's Old No. 7, though,
right? Right. But that's for this product. Yeah. So different not other products are gonna not this one, but for their Old No. 7, but. All their products use their top ingredients, but that's the blend for their straight up Jack Daniels whiskey that is world loved. And the reason it's called a sour mash is because they use just a little bit of their yeast from each last batch to start the next one. So
it's kind of the strain lives.
Yeah, the strain lives. Yeah,
cool.
A little bit of a starter. That's why it's called a sour mash. And I always wondered that too.
Huh.
It says here that the mash ferments for a full 6 days before they single distill. That's all they do is one distill.
Okay.
They use a copper still that is handcrafted to their exact specifications. And if I've learned anything from going to these distilleries, they're still, everybody has a lot of pride in exactly how their still is designed. It is just as important as the flavor of the...
Everybody has very strong feelings and opinions about it. And
Yes. So the final thing that's really important is what makes it a Tennessee whiskey, and it is the charcoal that they mellow it through, right? So they call it the Lincoln County process, but in the things I've read about whiskey, it's not a bourbon. It's a Tennessee whiskey because of the fact that they filter it through charcoal, and they take this charcoal and they like to use sugar maple charcoal, so it has this honeyed flavor.
Okay.
But it says that they call it giving it an extra blessing, but they filter it. I want to say they filter it through 10 feet of charcoal, and this can take days. It says 3 to 5 days to complete.
Kind of trickles down through the charcoal.
Yeah,
okay, that's cool. And
then the final thing they say that really makes them proud that brings the flavor is the barrel itself. They say it's not just a casing, it's an ingredient itself, because this is interesting to me too. One of the things that makes a bourbon is that it has to be aged in new but charred oak barrels, so they put a char on the inside of it. They use American oak barrels, but they're brand new. They don't have any charring inside of them.
So no charring, Jack.
But that way it interacts with the wood itself.
And it's already got a little bit of the char by going through the charcoal.
Right, exactly. But that's very clear that's why it's not a bourbon, it's a Tennessee whiskey.
Very cool.
But that gives it a very unique flavor. So that's essentially how they do all their products. So obviously the different products are going to have different profiles based on the grains and the percentages that are used.
Or like they've got a line of flavor ones out now too, so they're just going to add the flavors at the end. Probably, just have your basic whiskey and add blackberry to it.
Yeah. So there you have it. So I just find that whole process fascinating.
Yeah. And the caves are just for the source of water, right? They don't do any aging in the caves, or they have regular rick houses.
No, they age everything in the barrel, and so that whiskey pulls in that flavor, and they only use a barrel one time for aging of the whiskey. They will
make a brand new barrel for each.
They'll sell them to other places that will use them to flavor scotches or beer
Beers,
or hot
yeah.
sauces, things like that.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, they also have a conservation program to help maintain, the balance of the trees that they use. So they're not just going and cutting down all the trees.
They're planting too.
Yeah,
That's cool.
yeah, absolutely. So
it's sustainable.
it's it's sustainable, but they're very proud of the barrels too. They're everything. It seems to me like every step of the process they consider crafty.
And you might not remember this either because we were talking about it earlier. They have a club, right?
Yeah.
What was the deal with the club? I mean, I've got the pictures of it. We'll put it on the screen to talk
They were
about
explaining it to us when we were doing the tasting.
I don't know what it was called.
Yeah, I can't either, but
We'll put it on the screen
has
also.
something to do with at one point when they when they were starting to distribute, they started paying attention to like places where they were ordering a lot of their product,
Right.
and so they started going out and trying to meet these people, and they were trying to encourage them to order more, and they were like, "Tell us who's buying it from you," and so they kind of started a network. It was like an early viral marketing campaign that if you wanted to be a friend of Jack Daniels, you could pay some money and you would get like a plot of land, like a little square of
almost
land,
like those things that say you're like a Scottish lord type thing, almost, except for you're not
at the
you're not
distillery, and then they have events for them, but you could come down. They had this house that looked like a little club that you could come down and
it had a little room in the back, and it looked pretty.
Yeah.
It looked very exclusive. It looked very
Yeah.
cool. It was like I want to be part of that club.
Yeah, so that was fun.
I wish I remember what it was called.
Yeah, no, it's okay.
We'll put it on the screen.
But Jack Daniels was an interesting man. He never married, but he was known to be quite the ladies' man. There were lots of rumors about who he was squiring around town. And when you see his clothing, he was very tiny as well. They have his clothing on display. But, yeah, I mean, it's really fun to go down there and see, pictures of the past head distillers and people that were there making the product. And right there, it's right there in Lynchburg too, Lynchburg, Tennessee, and it's kind of all part of what they want you to experience. Like you can take this little footbridge across,
into town.
yeah, across this creek that where water's trickling through. It's probably water that's coming out of the caves. But you can go right into town, and you can go to there's a restaurant that has a connection to the distillery.
We didn't have time to do any of that.
Yeah, you can make a whole day out of it. Is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So
when we did the tasting, we tried all sorts of good stuff, and we found out from talking to the two bartenders there that there is a whiskey you can only get there.
Yeah. In the White Rabbit
in the White Rabbit bottling room, right?
Yeah.
So that's what we're going to try today. Is there anything else you want to say before we bust into this? Or you want to talk about this?
No. It's interesting because usually we'll try to find one that we both like, and we tasted some good whiskeys that day.
So this only comes in a small bottle like this. It was like almost $70 for the small barrel, but it's Jack Daniel's Special Release Tennessee Rye Whiskey.
Yeah,
it's 71.35% alcohol. It's on the side. It's got the bottling date. It was bottled in 4/2/26. It was put in a barrel on 7/11/2017 from Barrel House 1-06. On the side, it's got all these the batch. Batch number 2 from Boiler Hill number 2 is the barrel house that stayed in. So all this cool stuff's listed on the bottle. So you get along.
And what's interesting? I bet somebody with a really developed palate could tell subtle differences in taste based on which rick house it was in.
So kind of it's got
because air also.
It's a nice brown color. It's almost got a little bit of a purple quality to it too. Or am I crazy? And on the bottom you got the JD brand on the bottom of the bottle and stuff like that. So we've never tried this. We've never opened it tonight. I took the plastic off prior to making our video, but we're gonna.
I will say though,
to smell the cork.
I would. Oh, we did try another rye that while we were there. I think was their bottled in bond rye.
Yes,
and that was our favorite one.
It was. We like the ryes.
Yeah.
We like the
rye. Oh, Dave, this looks
Special
beautiful.
release. So this one, when we finally finish one off, we'll definitely keep this bottle because
look at that.
Again, the only place you can get it was there at Jack Daniel's itself. So
yeah, it's a really rich. It's not honey. It's almost more caramel. It's a caramel color.
Very deep brown.
It's got very good legs. Those legs are just sticking. They're just. It's more. Yeah.
It's
oh wow.
It's not really super strong in the smell department, which is okay. Sometimes it's too strong, like singes the nostrils, but. Ooh, it's got that good bite that a rye does. Very peppery. What are you getting on the end though? Miss
cherries.
Cherries?
Yeah, pepper and then cherries. And woo! Singe my nose hair.
It's smooth.
What is the proof on this, Dave?
It didn't say proof. 142.7 proof.
Wow. If you can't take me to 147 proof, don't even try.
Should I tell that story real quick?
Yeah, go right ahead.
I saw some guy wearing a shirt. You see this shirt at lots of places.
Oh, this is so good.
It says, if you don't water me down if you can't handle me at 100 proof. And I laugh because, 100 proof is 50% whiskey. So you're already watered down.
Yeah,
So I don't think that guy quite was portraying the message he thought he was trying to portray.
It was.
But anyway, I thought it was funny.
This is a flex though. Oh my gosh. Ooh, my belly's getting warm. No, that is a great taste. But that's what I get. I get the pepper and then I get the cherries. And you can really taste the wood. But other than that, but very well balanced. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I don't even want water.
So it was a quick. I mean, we had to kill some time because we got there early, but otherwise it was kind of in and out. We had a little time to see the museum, lobby part of the place. But as soon as we could get into the tasting room, we had our taste and bought this bottle.
We sat outside some lawn chairs, rocking chairs, and I got my uke out. And I just did a little picking while we were waiting to go.
So I would like to go back and do more if we could ever do it sometime, but pull it off. But this particular day, we just needed to get home, so we had just enough time to go do this. But it was worth it. It was a lot of fun.
It was.
Yeah. We did, schoolhouse the day before, and then this. So it was a nice birthday weekend for me. Happy birthday to me!
Happy birthday again, honey. Glad to share this Tennessee whiskey with you.
These trips back and forth from Atlanta have been fun because we do try to find some place to pull over every once in a while if we think we have time. Or if
it helps us feel like we're still adventurous, even though we're, in that 50-ish era of our lives. So this is really good. Yeah,
well worth the exclusivity of it. I think.
I know.
Sometimes you get something that's exclusive and you try it, you're like,
no, that's great.
Fine. This is really good.
It was just fun.
If you ever get a chance to go to Jack Daniel's and buy some special release Tennessee rye, please do so. All right. So as we get ready to wind down this episode, if there's anything you'd like to know about Swoop or the other Dinobots or any Transformers, a couple places you can go. I always will tell you to go to the tfwiki.net, the Transformers Wiki. Great source of information on all things Transformers. I also like to name drop Chris McFeely. He's got a channel on YouTube called The Basics On. He talks about different Transformer subjects. He's got the Dinobots and Swoop, so check those out if you'd like to learn more about that. He'll give you more of an overview of the entire history of the character versus what I'm just talking about is mostly just this toy right here. So if you'd like to know more, that's a good place to go to as well. If you'd like to, if there's a Transformer we haven't covered yet and you'd like us to put it into our rotation, drop us a line in the comments below. Please make sure you hit all the buttons. Like, subscribe, share, comment. All those things help the algorithms, help us grow this channel. We really appreciate all the people who do subscribe.
Including if there's a beer spirit or brewery or distillery you would like us to try, please nominate it below in the comments. We love ideas and we love a challenge.
Right. It's a place we can get to.
And we love to interact with people who love what we love, which is, I don't know, Transformers and booze, I guess.
Transformers and booze. They're on BeerFormers. And if you like the merch, we don't have an official merch channel yet, but we got these through Ninja Transfers. So I'm not, we're not an official advertiser for Ninja Transfers, but I have been pleased with what they've sent us so far. But that I ordered. that I paid for.
Honey.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's trying to be ethically pure.
Exactly. So, as we finally wind down this episode, we've actually asked that you do the following things that we ask you to do every single time that you come with us, and that is to play responsibly and drink responsibly. Thanks for checking us out again here on BeerFormers.
More than meets the rye.
I'm out.
Cheers.
I'll do a little drop here.